Charles, the world is not the same as it was. Mutants. They're gone now.
I think the biggest difference is us trying to make a movie for grown-ups, trying not to make a movie for kids. I think, yes, it's gotten darker, but also a little more real feeling, you know? It doesn't feel like it was shot on a soundstage. It feels like it was shot in the world in which we live, and trying to make a movie that somehow stands out.
We are expecting some hardcore action scenes in the Logan.
Well, you've seen the footage, right? Yes. I mean, it's pretty intense. I think that I think for a lot of fans, you'll get to see finally the kind of action people have been hoping for a long time.
Time working with the Wolverines, and what attracted you the most to make 2 movies about him?
Well, what attracted me this time was the ambition to do something very different. I loved making the last film, but it was a kind of standalone movie about the character's kind of famous trip to Japan. But this was in its own way more of an original creation, but I think something for us to explore Logan in his twilight, at the end of his life. You know, where he is when he's getting older and not as healthy anymore.
Perhaps this is the last time working with Hugh Jackman as a Wolverine, and how did you feel?
It is an emotional experience, but it's one, you know, we shoot the movie over 5 months, so it's a journey, and it never really ends because you're always kind of thinking of new ideas and even looping the dialogue and changing things, and so but the reality is I think it's an emotional experience for him, but I think he's done. You know, he did it. He's played this character
For a long time.
I think longer than any other actor has ever played a character in movies.
You know, he said he won't miss 4 a.m. workout.
Yes.
How are they similar? Like
No.
character-wise? Not at all?
Almost diametrically different. I think there is an overlap. I think Hugh reaches into places of pain and loneliness in his own life to play this character, but they couldn't be more different. He couldn't be more friendly and kind,
Right.
and Logan couldn't be grumpier.
So, the new character, Daphne Kin, she played a new character, X-23. What can you tell us about her?
This is, you know, a father-son story in the sense that Logan is caring for an aging and fragile Charles Xavier.
What is she?
Beneath the stain
She's like you.
of time.
Very much like you.
But it's also a father-daughter story in this 11-year-old Laura that is thrust upon Logan, who has made from his genetic material and who has claws of her own. I think that's really a very exciting new thing for him to have to deal with, not just to contend with, to protect her, but also to deal with his job as a parent.
Well, aside from your deep connection with the Wolverine, is there any other character in X-Men you'd like to focus, perhaps next movie?
I love Magneto. I love Magneto. But I also think X-23 would be interesting to follow.
Mutants. They're gone now.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel.
Well, as you know, I knew Johnny Cash and I made Walk the Line. But I also think there's a really deep connection between John Cash and the character of Wolverine. You know, when Johnny Cash, he told me when I was working on the script for the movie, when he was a kid, he'd go to the movies in his town in Arkansas that he grew up in, and on Saturdays, and his favorite movie was Frankenstein. And it was because he identified with the monster.
Oh, really?
As
That's
a boy.
That's deep.
Yeah, well, he felt like he was broken in some way when he was a child, and he felt like he was a monster in some way. John Cash did, and what's so interesting is that Logan similarly is like a Frankenstein and is like a monster. So I felt often like the characters are very similar, in wildly. One was real life and one is fictional, but have a lot in common.
So lastly, what kind of message do you want to send out to your fans who are anticipating to see Logan?
I just come out and watch. I think what you should be ready for is a movie that shakes up some of the foundation of what you know and expect. Hopefully gives you some things you've been waiting a long time to see, but also throws other surprises your way.